Well, when I started, I tend to just get a call when the production has wrapped, and you hand over the paperwork and a budget, which the line producer had copied and pasted from the previous project, and said, this is your post-production, this is the deliverables you have to complete, and that's, that was the job. And you think, how am I going to finish this since I have had no input in the production or in the process from the beginning? But that has drastically changed because the producers start to realize that when the line producer hands over, they haven't prepped at all what's going to happen in post. So the producers, thankfully, are starting to come to me when they start prepping. Generally, when they got the green light and saying, yes, we got the money, now can you make sure that the money we have got will cover all of the deliverables and fit the timeline by the time we need to finish? So it's a huge improvement, and I'm delighted that they're actually doing that. I feel that I'm in a much better position now because I can actually influence how they are technically setting up a project, and preferably what equipment they are using and how it's being structured, and also linking the camera department from the beginning into the post-production facility. So we have a color pipeline even from day one, and the sound is shot in the same frame rate as the camera, which was beneficial, and it's all structured with one person who is setting the workflow up and bringing in all of the departments from the beginning. So I think this is a huge revolution, and it's great for our industry.
You said that your job, more and more, is becoming like the line producer.
Yes.
But with a big difference, that a line producer can follow one project at a time, and a post-supervisor can follow 3 or 4 together.
You like doing 3 projects at the same time, right, Gisela? That's why
Yes,
you do it, right?
of course, but I do that.
And why is happening?
Oh, well, it normally starts with financial compensation because post-supervisor isn't as well paid as a line producer. So to pay the mortgage, you take a few gigs at the same time, which means that you have to be very organized, because when you are juggling, for example, like on a shoot, it's constant within a line, but when you come into post-production, after you have log picture, and sometimes even during the editing process, you are working on VFX, sound design, music, you are grading, you're creating titles, you are scoring. All of this can happen at the same time.
And I guess, Gisela, you're kind of, when you're planning things, you really are kind of planning things from the off with the budget, with the schedule, with, you're making a real difference to, the whole workflow.
Well, I have to start the post-production schedule based on that starting point when we got the budget, the script, and the creative intention at that point. Of course, with the shoots and VFX and all of that will, of course, change. And during the editing process, the story might change, the previews will come back with different notes, etc. So, of course, during the post-production process, which generally is much longer than the shoot, you have to redo the schedule, redo the budget, and redo the planning for it, and get more financing, etc., etc. But it's, as everybody's saying here, the better you prep and schedule and plan from the beginning, and preferably you are seeing the potential issues that are coming up, the smoother it's going to be. And I think the important part is to work with the VFX departments, with the sound departments and camera departments up front, so we are all talking together and know what's going to come, and know what the requirements are, and know who the vendors are, and know what the workflows are with them. And I think that's very important to have that relationship.
In the US, the post supervisor and producer, sometimes they're called co-producers or associate producers in the US. That's a much more established position, and it's sometimes a much higher paid position. If you then migrate that into the UK, then the UK has two different models. We have the American model, which is the exclusive post-producer, post-supervisor, post-coordinator team, and they tend to run in packs. There's like 4 or 5 of them that work together at a time. But then you also have the non-exclusive side as well. Now, the exclusive side tends to be primarily on the episodic TV, so the high
I was just going to say that.
high-end
It's
episodic.
the big budget projects with
Yes.
Amazon, with Apple's,
Yeah.
with the Netflix, because they have the budgets that can actually
They
pay that sort of money. But if you work on an independent feature film, that's
Yes.
never going to happen.
No,
They
it's
don't have the finances, and that's just. And I am lucky if I do an independent feature film that I can get a coordinator.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it is just me who is running all of it at the same time as I do a couple of other projects. So on that project, I've actually grouped the budgeted amounts for myself and my coordinator. I put that into one pot, and I looked at the post schedule. How many weeks are we? And split it so that I can afford my coordinator to keep him employed at the same time as me.
Yeah.
So I had to reduce my rate to be able to afford the team, us working together for the whole time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have a job.
Yeah. Yeah.